Free-flowing attack, beautiful passing sequences, and a star-studded squad. Do you want to learn how to play like this legendary AC Milan side in FIFA? Well, today, I'm gonna teach you how. Hey, welcome back guys, Respected Jeff here, and today I'm going to take you through a little tutorial on how to play like AC Milan 2003-2004 in FIFA. It's a side that was marked with a real creative sort of free-flowing attack that was focused through the center of the pitch. You can see some of the style of play pointers there. In terms of teams that this fits best, if you have a lot of creative attacking midfielders, maybe not necessarily a lot of wide wingers or traditional wingers, because this formation doesn't account for that, and midfielders who are able to get out there with a lot of energy and run up and down the pitch. So right off the bat, in terms of setting your team up to play like this side, you want to select a 4-3-2-1. Now this is going to give you two center forwards that really should be attacking midfielders, but the way FIFA classifies it, it doesn't matter too much. In terms of getting started though, the defense you want set on balanced with a width of 3 and a depth of 4. Keep it narrow and fairly far back in terms of the way, especially teams in Serie A were playing at the time, very defensive and wanted to make sure they weren't caught out on the counter. Now the offense, it's a team that really moved through a few different formations, including a partnership of 2 up top, but I think this formation is the most iconic, so you're going to want to set it to balanced offensive style to give you a range, a width of 4, 5 players in the box, as well as 3 for both corners and free kicks. But now, here's where the magic happened in terms of actually getting this team to play like that AC Milan side did. You're going to want to have a pretty just traditional striker up top. Shevchenko was the player for AC Milan. But looking at the way you actually want to set him up, balanced, or like the defaults rather, are fine for this. It'll be a mixture of attacking options, someone who you can really just play off of. Now the crux of this formation comes into play with these 2 attacking midfielders or center forwards, whatever you want to classify them as here. Now on one side, this Rui Costa role, it's for someone a little more intelligent of a passer, really good technical ability, maybe not the fastest in the world, but on the other side, Kaká was known, I mean, one of the best players of all time probably, but you want someone fast and who can get behind, past the striker into the box and score goals and create chances, so you're going to want to set those accordingly. In terms of the Pirlo role here, you're going to want to set them to stay back while attacking. In terms of the defensive position, keep them central. You just want someone who can dictate the pace of play really and work the ball around, someone with good passing range who is able to just distribute effectively. And on either side of them, those other 2 central midfielders, you want to set both of them to get forward so they can contribute to the attack and push up behind the center forwards, as well as cover the wing. So those are your options that are going to be helping out the fullbacks on defense, as well as really just giving you a lot of effort up and down the pitch. They will get back on defense as well. Now, in terms of the back line here, I mean, obviously these are hard players to live up to in finding replacements for players like Maldini or Cafu, but you want to set both of them to overlap. Since this is such a narrow formation the way we set up, all of your width is going to come from the fullbacks. So you're going to want to especially set that right-hand side to join the attack, as well as overlap on the runs to make sure they keep their width. And those are the players who, if you want to go the crossing route, are going to be able to offer you that option. And now in terms of the center backs, you just want people who are really able to shut down attacks effectively, not necessarily do anything special in terms of tactics. Some of the best defenders of all time have been in there, so you just want to find someone really solid. Same with the goalkeeper, nothing special required there. So that's the way we set the team up, and now let's take a look at how you can actually use this formation with some practical examples here in game. I ran through a bunch of games using this formation, and I want to highlight some of the ways you want to focus on playing if you want to really truly mimic this AC Milan side. Now, number 1, they were defensively sound. You want to stay compact on defense. You're going to have a lot of narrow players, so you can afford a little bit of width outside. Let them have the ball outside. Just prevent the crosses from getting in by actually congesting the penalty area. So you can see here, you allow the ball to be spread out wide. You have your fullbacks really narrow here, and even in the chance where they do work a ball through with a clever through ball, in that case, the shot is at such a tight angle because your center backs are in position and the fullback was cutting out the opportunity that you're going to keep chances to a real minimum here. So even against teams like Inter Milan, if they're able to break your midfield line, you have all of your back four still sitting deep behind it, and in this instance, we're able to win the ball right back. So you want to focus on not overexerting yourself or pulling players out of position. Just absorb the pressure a little bit. You will have players and numbers back. Now, in terms of getting forwards, you want to play down the center. Obviously, this is a really narrow formation, but you want to just have some clever interplay between the central midfielders, the striker, the center forwards, and just work the ball in between them. You will have options a little wider with the fullbacks if you want it, but the focus of the attack should really be down the middle, because that's what this formation excels in. You don't want to ignore those options. So you can see here, even just having numbers, if you lose the ball back, there is a decent chance you'll win it right back, and you're going to open up some chances. You just keep pushing down the center. Maybe not the most beautiful goal in that example ever, but Ibrahimovic is able to just get a chance off, capitalize on sort of a blocked effort, get a second shot off, and we just keep pushing down the middle with numbers, and eventually it's going to pay off. That's really the focus of this setup here. Now, in terms of actually making use of specific players, that right-handed central attacking midfielder, if you set them to make the runs in behind, like I showed in the tactics breakdown, they're gonna get options, especially if you have a proper quick player set to that role to capitalize on it. You can see some of these options. They're going to make the runs. Keep your eye open for them. And in examples like this, you just kind of wait on the edge, and he's clean through on goal. He's always going to be waiting on the last man and waiting to run through. And since he's not the traditional striker in the system, a lot of times the defenses won't necessarily pick that player up, and you're going to have opportunities into the space there. You can see that capitalizing in on a goal. And while there are definitely tons of important roles in this system, I think in terms of goal scoring, that might be your number one, that attacking midfielder on the right, and how they link up well with the striker. You can see even here the striker Ibrahimovic getting pulled out wide and links up beautifully with the attacking midfielder, Rebic playing that Kaká role, and some great interplay like that. Again, just simple through balls, passes, 1-2s down the center is the focus. You're going to get so many chances playing like this, especially against teams that maybe don't have numbers in the center of the pitch. It's going to be best against formations that play wide or have a lot of wingers that are pulling their players out of position and leaving you room down the center. And like I mentioned already, in terms of getting a little bit of width here, you can use your fullbacks for that. So not every option needs to go down the center of the pitch. Like I said, that's the focus and maybe the bulk of your attack. But you can see a great example here of players making those overlapping runs and being allowed to just put a ball in. You're going to have center mids, center forwards, strikers all getting into the box with this formation. It's a very obviously central heavy approach, so you're going to have tons of options getting in the box to cross to. So you can see here Theo Hernandez playing in that Maldini role at left back, getting a good ball in. And maybe nothing comes of that move, but in terms of converting crosses, it's not always the highest percentage of getting shots off on goal, so you want to use those sparingly. But one of the best parts about this formation is how flexible it is. If you remember off of the tactics we set, it's balanced for both offense and defense, and that's just to give you the flexibility. You don't want to rely too much on any one style of play. It's not really possession-based. It's not really counterattacking based either. You just have to play things the way the game is going, and you're going to get plenty of diverse options because of that. You can play wide, you can play down the middle, you can play fast, you can play slow. However you feel the game is going and feel like you need it best, you're going to have options available. So it's a very balanced, versatile formation that has a ton of flexibility to it and is honestly so much fun to play with. All these games that I played with this team, I had a blast, and I hope that you guys get as much enjoyment out of it too, and set your team up accordingly and have a lot of fun with it. So those are some real gameplay examples, and now taking a quick look back at the style of play now that you have a little better of an idea of it. It's all about control of midfield and dynamic possession, like I was just saying. Mixing up your attack in tons of different ways is the way to go about this. And if you guys want to contribute to some of these discussions and let me know what teams you'd like to see coming up next, as well as give me some feedback on the actual careers I'm doing, players we should sign, new kits, new faces, things we're doing, feel free to join the Discord. Go to patreon.com/respectthejeff, and I hope to see you all there. In the meantime, if you guys have been enjoying these series, please consider subscribing to the channel. Helps me out a ton, and I'll be back soon with another one of these if you all are enjoying it soon. But until then, I'm Respect the Jeff, and I'll see you next time.